Tunatafuta salario. Welcome to Biashara Tuesday. Tunatafuta salary hapa. I hope you're doing the same on this very bright. Is it bright really outside? Let me know. But welcome to KUTV Rise today, the best morning breakfast show on your television station. This is where I give you the best radio on TV experience. So you can be sure to also follow this through on KU 999 FM. I'll be telling you what this show is all about, but I have a lot that we could talk about on this show today. Is it maybe on the international front where President William Ruto did speak last week and promised to send troops to Haiti? And now, as of yesterday, the United States Secretary of Defense, who's in Africa for a 1-week-long visit, has signed a framework for cooperation in matters of defense with the current Cabinet Secretary of Defense in Kenya, Aden Duale. So this means we are poised to send a contingent of 1,000 police officers to Haiti for a peacekeeping mission in that country which is currently engulfed in war. This has not hit well with several Pan-Africanists. The United States has pledged 14 billion Kenyan shillings towards this mission. So Kenya is receiving 14 billion Kenyan shillings from the United States towards this mission. Pan-Africanists are not so happy with President William Ruto, who they say has been changing his tone as depends on which platform he is at. If he's in Africa, he's been preaching Pan-Africanism, a strong unity, and also cooperation within African nations. However, on the international front, he looked like he is an ally to Western nations, who are the global north that he keeps pointing towards when he is in various of these platforms. Or maybe that's a bit too negative, and we'll be liking to focus on some positives, where CS Ababu Namwamba has signed deals from Hollywood to the NBA to the Grammys, and therefore our film and sports industry is going to get a boost in the next few months as these different production companies and as well the NBA are going to set up operation right within Nairobi. So this is something the youth can be excited about. And therefore, maybe some more positive, even as yesterday, President William Ruto flagged off 103,000 medical kits to community health promoters who will be deployed across 47 counties. So in the next coming weeks, this is going to be one of those plans in the Universal Health Coverage Plan by President William Ruto. The Universal Health Coverage Plan will be launched next month in Mashujaa Day celebrations in October 20th, and this is when those 100,000 health community promoters will be sent out to the counties. They'll be knocking at your doors to help you, of course, get medical aid that will not require you to walk all the way to hospitals, which could be very far for people who are in the rural areas. So this is exciting. But as President William Ruto is doing that, KRA felt like they might be missing out on this door-to-door visit, and they've now deployed 1,400 KRA service agents will be going all across the country in helping taxpayers comply with tax agencies' rules and also for data collection. So next time someone is knocking at your door, you could be sick and therefore getting help from one of those community health workers, or you could be tired because it will be these service agents from KRA, and if you're very unlucky, they will find you sick and tired. So those are what is happening and much more, including the bipartisan talks between Azimio la Umoja and Kenya Kwanza government. So because I'm a bit split on where we should be focusing on, I've brought through Joseph Kess, again from KUTV Newsroom. He's a news reporter and news anchor with us. He'll help us round all these stories up in a very nice packaging so that you can see from his POV what do these developments mean for us here as we discuss matters of business on Biashara Tuesday. I also have here a couple of guests, some to help us know if youth inclusion, peace, and mental health could be the solution to some of the issues that we are facing in the Republic as a moment. Next month, World Teachers' Day is being celebrated in 100 countries and above all across the world. What are we doing here locally, and what efforts can be put in ensuring that the business of education is at the core of our economy? I'd like you to celebrate your teacher, so I'll be giving you that opportunity here on this show. If there's a teacher that you'd like to give a shout out to as we prepare for that conversation on World Teachers' Day, here on Biashara Tuesday, and much more, please interact with me on social media. As you celebrate your teacher, also do tell me where you are tuning in to this show from and what kind of discussion you will be excited to take a look at or to even participate in as we discuss on Biashara Tuesday. Tag me across social media platforms. Tag the station at KUTV Kenya, at Richard_OKENYE, I'll be right back with what is happening on those roads. Welcome to the best and the biggest business show on this side of the Sub-Saharan. My name is Richard OKENYE. Let's kick it off. All right, congratulations, first of all, because you're going to the roads. Eliud Kipchoge, the greatest of all-time marathoners, on his 5th round of the Berlin Marathon, which is a record, of course, among of many records. So congratulations to him, something that we should celebrate. But while we are still on sports, Kenyan Starlets are going to be playing today in Nyayo Stadium against Cameroon, who are one up from the first leg. But hopefully, because this is free of charge, you can attend and support the Kenyan Starlets, who is the women team of Harambee Stars, or our national team. And therefore, if you can be able to make your way all the way to Nyayo Stadium, please go there and support them in that endeavor to beat Cameroon in that match that is going for the second leg. So they're one down. We need 2-1 for us to win right there. Now, some other news coming from the residents of Karen. They're calling it here It was renamed the Francis Atwoli Road. I remember some time back we discussed it here on Biashara Tuesday, and there were protests over in some sections of Muthaiga there and Runda, where Dick Road. So Dick Hure, the name is back. The court has quashed Francis Atwoli from being named after this road, or for this road from being named after Francis Atwoli, and saying that there was no public participation in this process, and also stakeholder consultation was not done. So we're back to Dick Road. So residents of that side of town, which is the posh suburbs of Runda and Muthaiga, can celebrate that Francis Atwoli. I don't know if Francis Atwoli himself is celebrating. Of course, definitely not. We'll wait to see. Kama atasema miti ikate upande gani this time. Kenya is also announcing traffic disruption at Imara Daima, and this is going to last all the way to October 2nd. The Kenya National Highway Authority has announced a temporary closure of the sections of this. It's called Tegla Road, and it's between Moses Tanui Junction and Cosmat Ndeti Road. So wale watu wa Mombasa Road are very aware of these locations. The authority is closing these places to construct what is necessary to collect stormwater as we prepare ourselves for El Nino. So Nairobi looks very prepared, and Kenya is also participating. Looks like we have a bit of positive news all over. Let's look at what is happening, current traffic conditions within the city and also in the outskirts. And we're getting this information courtesy of Mathri Route here on Twitter. If you're elsewhere also, you can let us know what is happening in Nakuru, Kisii, and any other place where traffic is being observed. There was a tragic accident also happening at Southern Bypass, so approach carefully there with caution as you're going out to work. Mathri Route is here. We see Endgen is asking personal car drivers, when overtaking long trailers, why don't you do it quickly and pass? Please do not drive side by side, because it's likely that the trailer might not remember you're there and swerve right in case of anything. So that's some information there for you to navigate traffic if you're approaching long trailers. Serious accidents also happening at Southern Bypass still, so that's information even from way last night. Heavy traffic is building up as you're going to town from Ngara, kama kawaida. What is happening on Southern Bypass from yesterday? We are seeing a standstill yesterday at 20 minutes, and also today the same thing. Let us know wale watu wako hizo sides, but that's as much as we could gather on the important information from what is happening on those roads. Let us know more. If you're out there, we'll love to speak to you, but right about now, going to take a break and then come back with the updates. What's happened in the world, news updates locally and on the international front. I'll be right back with that. Don't go too far. right, Biashara Tuesday is still here on air to you. Please let us know where you're tuning in from. It's important for us so that we see how far or how near we are getting to you. But also give a shout out to anyone else that you'd like us to mention here on the show. Remember to follow through also on KU999 FM, where the audio version of this show is being broadcasted. World Teachers Day, also known as International Teachers Day, celebrated 5th of October by 100 and more countries. And this year, let me just read you this theme here. This celebration is going to be guided by the theme of the teachers we need for the education we want, the global imperative to reverse the teacher shortage. We are addressing teacher shortage, and across the world, of course, Kenya is among those which are affected in terms of teacher to student ratio. Most of our teachers are, of course, put in primary public schools or primary or secondary public schools where the population is overwhelming, and you realize that one teacher has to serve a couple of students, which is stretching, of course, the delivery of quality education. The theme this year, the teachers we need for the education we want. How do we reverse this global shortage in terms of teachers? And that is what is going to happen on International Teachers Day on 5th of October. This morning here on the show, we're going to have a discussion that is centered around that, and of course some of the other issues which are affecting delivery of education with Emmanuel Wafula. Emmanuel Wafula is a congressman at the School of Education within Kenyatta University. He's a two-term majority leader who's poised to become an educator of the coming days. Let him come here through on the show and tell us how he is prepared for International Teachers Day. What can we do as a republic, even as we try and implement the current CBC curriculum, which is poised to, of course, bring a new direction and inject new energy within our institutions of learning. How prepared are we? How prepared are our teachers? And to also prepare you for that conversation, will allow you to celebrate your teacher. I'll be celebrating mine as well, who took me through most of my primary school life, and also maybe one of my high school teachers, and also college. You know, it's important we mention those who are there throughout our education journeys. I'm going to give you that chance on social media at KUTV Kenya. Let us know which teacher should we celebrate on your behalf, and we'll be giving them a shout out here on the Biashara today. I'm excited to hear that from you, and also to continue with what we are preparing on conversations. But for now, let's see what our news reporters have prepared for us from KUTV Newsroom. All right, our news reporters at KUTV Newsroom have been able to go around and get us important information from around the country in politics, education, and business. And this is going to give us a perspective on the discussions of the day, and to also set a tone for what is going to be there throughout the week. And on the newspaper review section, I've been able to bring through one of the news reporters and news anchors from KUTV Newsroom again, and that is Joseph Kess. He'll be letting us know from his angle and from his work in the ground as a reporter and anchor, what can we make or how can we make sense of this developments. And then we begin, of course, with matters of education, and in KCSE, where of course there's a new grading system that has been discussed by the Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu, and these new changes are coming in as we celebrate the World Teachers Day, and that's going to happen on 5th of October. So we're going to also discuss how this new grading system is going to affect our teachers and the delivery of education. Recently, we've also seen, of course, a new system within our universities, our higher institutions of learning, in terms of admission and also financing of our education. How has this affected our learning in the high institutions of course, in our high institutions of learning? How has education been affected by these new changes, even as we see the new changes in KCSE grading that are supposed to help with increasing the admission rate of these students who are graduating all the way from high school? So we begin with Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu, who announced these new changes in the KCSE, that is Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education Grading System, for 2023 candidates and all future KCSE examinations. While speaking during the 2023 National Examination Season launch that was held at the new Mitihani House on Monday, Machogu indicated that in the new grading system, there's going to be only 2 mandatory subjects, which will be mathematics and 1 language, which is either English, Kiswahili, or the Kenyan Sign Language. In addition to the 2, examiners will be required to pick 5 of the best performed subjects from each student. According to the CS, the changes are aimed at increasing the number of students who qualify for tertiary education level. In the previous years, 5 mandatory subjects, which are mathematics, English, Kiswahili, 2 sciences, and 1 humanity, were used while grading a candidate. All right, in matters of health, President William Ruto yesterday flagged off distribution of 100,000 medical kits to community health promoters across the country at Uhuru Park, Nairobi. The community health promoters are to deliver basic healthcare services to households at their doorsteps to bolster preventive and promotive healthcare services. The president said that the national government will partner with county governments in co-sharing the responsibility in order to achieve universal health coverage. Anyango Sylvia has this report.
In an attempt to achieve universal health care, President William Ruto has flagged off the distribution of 100,000 health kits to community health promoters, CHPs, across the country. According to Ruto, strengthening CHPs is a shift to curative and preventive healthcare model that will reduce health expenses.
Tumekuwa tukipanga afya ya kutibu, lakini saa hizi tunapanga afya ya kuzuia magonjwa. Na ndio sababu hiyo tumekutana hapa leo. This moment is a moment of a paradigm shift in the delivery of health in our nation.
Ruto promised that in partnership with county governments, CHPs will receive monthly stipend and smartphones. Additionally, 20,000 more health workers will be employed to increase their ratio to that of population, where 23 health workers will serve a population of 10,000 people, as recommended by World Health Organization. Ruto further urged members of parliament to help pass the health bill to ensure healthcare delivery is firm, legal and legislative.
That we are going to partner with them to make sure that our community health promoters have a stipend every month. And we are going to co-share a shilling for a shilling with our county governments.
10 CHPs are responsible for 100 households, 1,000 households forming one community health unit. Headed by community health assistant, the country has approximately 10,000 units, each linked to a level 2 or level 3 facility. Each CHP should receive supportive supervision monthly from a qualified health worker.
These units are the bigger part of a larger primary care network, PCN. This means that each unit is linked to a specific level 2 health facility, commonly known as dispensary, and a level 3, commonly known as a health center. These facilities are mapped to level 4 facilities, such as sub-county or county hospitals.
CHPs are instrumental in visiting households, determining health situations, delivering key health messages, treating common ailments and minor injuries, guiding the community on health improvement and disease prevention. The president will formally launch the next phase of the program on 20th October this year. Anyango Sylvia, KUTV.
Thank you, Sylvia, for that. Renson Mulele Ingonga will now serve as the Director of Public Prosecutions. This is after he was sworn into office at State House, Nairobi, yesterday. Mulele will now serve as the third DPP in Kenya, replacing Director General of the National Intelligence Service, Nordin Haji. According to President William Ruto, who graced the swearing in, Mulele will be instrumental in the fight against graft in Kenya.
Renson Mulele Ingonga is the new Director of Public Prosecutions after he was sworn into office today at State House, Nairobi. Ingonga is an advocate of the High Court and has been a Senior Deputy Director of Public Prosecution in charge of the Northeastern region prior to his nomination. Mulele will also serve as Vice Chairperson of the National Council on the Administration of Justice, chaired by Chief Justice Martha Koome.
I, Renson Mulele Ingonga, do solemnly affirm that I will well and truly serve the people and the Republic of Kenya in the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Mulele takes over from Nordin Haji, who was appointed as the National Intelligence Service Director General, and according to President William Ruto, who presided over the event, it is time for the office of the DPP to act in the fight against corruption, which is threatening economic success.
Kenyans hope, and I hope, that under your tenure, the war on corruption will not be used to settle political scores, to target persons for their beliefs, or to pressure persons to abandon their rights and principles.
The office of the DPP is responsible for making professional decisions on prosecutions that are free from political influence or control. The director has full independence with regard to the way his office is run. In line with that, the national justice system has vowed to work hand in hand with the office of the DPP.
Kenyans are resolute and they are determined to make sure that we root out corruption in our country. As you have heard, I have said, mambo ni matatu. And you know one of them, it is up to you to discharge.
On behalf of the judiciary, together with the broad stakeholders in the justice sector, under the auspices of the National Council on the Administration of Justice, NCAJ, that I chair, we stand ready to welcome you to the family of NCAJ and to assure you that we will collaborate as partners and work with you to deliver on your mandate. We believe in a shared vision of a just, efficient, and effective justice system.
Last week, members of parliament anonymously approved Ingonga's nomination to the position. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
Okay, now we move to bipartisan talks. The National Dialogue Committee, which is led by co-chairs Kimani Ichung'wah, representing the Kenya Kwanza side, and Kalonzo Musyoka, representing the Azimio One Kenya faction, conducted the bipartisan talks at the Bomas of Kenya, where they presided over the presentation of memoranda by different stakeholders who are invited to present their proposals before the National Dialogue Committee. The exercise, which kicked off last week, saw some stakeholders propose abolishment of some taxes and levies in order to counter the cost of living, as James Muriki now reports.
The National Dialogue Committee is conducting the bipartisan talks today at the Bomas of Kenya, where the exercise of exposition of memoranda by different stakeholders took place. Public Parties and Liaison Committee, one of the stakeholders invited to present the memoranda before the National Dialogue Committee, raised concerns in line with the agendas agreed by the National Dialogue Committee. In their presentation, the Public Parties and Liaison Committee proposed the increase of the IEBC commissioners from 7 to 9, complete audit of the 2022 general elections, inclusion of the coalition parties in appointing IEBC commissioners, and applying the same formula used to select IEBC selection panel to appoint IEBC commissioners. The Public Parties and Liaison Committee, which is also responsible for providing a platform for dialogue between the Registrar of Political Parties, Electoral Commission, and political parties, recommended the amendment of Political Parties Act and the return of the 15% that is given to all the registered parties in the country. On matters high cost of living, the Public Parties and Liaison Committee proposed the reduction of the many taxes and levies imposed on Kenyans in order to lower the high cost of living. The National Dialogue Committee members have advised stakeholders presenting the exposition of the memoranda to also attach proposals of 4 agendas as agreed in the Framework Agreement report. James Moreki Mwenda, KUTV.
In the capital city, Nairobi residents will have the chance to voice their ideas on the proposed Nairobi City County Finance Bill of 2023. Residents will have 3 days at the forums organized by the County Assembly Finance, Budget and Appropriations Committee to discuss new taxes with their legislators. The Nairobi County government has suggested raising taxes and fines for the city's transportation system, including parking areas, drop-off locations and pick-up locations in its finance bill of 2023. In business news, the National Treasury has signaled an uptake of syndicated loans after raising its targets to 467 billion shillings from previous estimates of 270 billion shillings for commercial financing in the year 2023-2024 financial cycle. At the same time, Kenya Electricity Generating Company KENGEN is expected to satisfy 3.9 billion shillings debt to Geothermal Development Company GDC after a ruling by the High Court directing all banks in the country maintaining KENGEN accounts to satisfy this debt.
Following the reduction in net domestic financing, the National Treasury is looking into the possibility of using syndicated loans as part of its financing strategy and borrowing strategy. This comes after the commercial financing target raised from the previous estimate of 270 billion to 467 billion and 270 billion to 294.5 billion for external commercial loans in the 2023-2024 fiscal cycle. According to Public Debt Management Office Director General Haron Sirima, the Treasury is looking into syndicated loan or bilateral creditor under commercial terms to get loans. Meanwhile, the Kenya Electricity Generating Company KENGEN has suffered a blow after the High Court ruled that money in its various bank accounts is available for seizure to satisfy a 3.9 billion shillings debt owed to Geothermal Development Company GDC. The debt is derived from steam sales that is owed by KENGEN since June 2022. Justice Alfred Mabeya of High Court directing all banks in the country maintaining any accounts on behalf of KENGEN to satisfy the debt. Following high demand for precision agriculture solutions, Kenya Airways subsidiary Fahari Aviation has expanded its drone fleet that will be used to gather data and provide solutions that help farmers to optimize their crop management and increase agricultural productivity. The firm has provided 14 additional drones that will be used in spraying crops and spreading farm inputs, thus increasing capacity to enhance precision farming by up to 300 hectares per day, up from 70 hectares. This move will increase productivity, efficiency and profitability of agriculture, thus boosting the economy of the country. Charles Kirubi, KUTV.
Thank you, Kirubi, for that business wrap. How apt that the man bringing us a business wrap is called Kirubi himself. From the business wrap, we go to the county wrap, where Tana River County leaders have expressed dissatisfaction with the national government for continued marginalization and destruction of their ecosystem. Led by Governor Dado Godana, the leaders have said that mega dams constructed by the government along the Tana River are a contributing factor to drought and floods. For this and more, take a look at this county wrap with Cynthia Nderitu.
Tana River County leaders have claimed that the natural calamities experienced in Tana Delta sub-county were as a result of destructive development along the River Tana upstream. Governor Dado Godana says that mega dams constructed along Kenya's longest river are a contributing factor to droughts and floods. He also calls upon county residents to brace up themselves ahead of the El Nino rains, which he says will be a blessing.
Dams kule juu isiposimama, there is no Tana that will ever feed the nation. We cannot even feed ourselves even today, kwa sababu umemaliza mto.
And over 500 landowners in Mukunine, Kilimambogo in Thika East are counting losses after squatters who sold them lands in 2017 refused to vacate and are now selling the same pieces of land to unsuspected buyers and chasing away the original ones.
Kuna wao pia walieuza hiyo maploti zao. Ukijaribu kuchimbua choo kwa ploti yako, wanarudisha mchanga. Ukikata mtaro ya ujenge nyumba ama uweke ua, wanafunika au wanang'oa, wanaharibu.
Hao wakongwe wenye wanasaidiwa na serikali ODH, wakipata hizo 2,000 anawaita kikao huko kwake, kila every Saturday anakuaga hapo, anawachinjia mbuzi, wanakunywa hiyo masupu, wengine hata wameaga wakingojea shamba ekari 2.5.
Elsewhere, residents of Ramula sublocation in Jim constituency are up in arms against eviction plans to pave way for a multi-billion-shilling gold mining venture. The residents are accusing the ministry in charge of mining and local leadership of colluding with the private developer to coerce the locals into leaving their ancestral land without proper sensitization and citizen participation.
Since the mining of gold, since the inception of mining of gold in Ramula, this community has been still very poor. They don't have anything. The economic benefit is zero. So gold is extracted, it is taken somewhere, it boards the plane, it goes somewhere, and they have zero here.
The forum hired lawyers to file petition in court to halt mining in the area until proper negotiations are held. Cynthia Ndirito, KUTV.
Thank you, Ndiritu, for that one. Let's look at some new story on fencing. Growing up in an impoverished neighborhood in Kenya, Mburu Wanyoike's journey from gang member to nationally recognized swordsman in an unlikely as it is inspirational voice of America's Saida Swaleh spoke to him and has this story for you.
These are the streets of Huruma, a well-known low-income area in Nairobi, Kenya. Mburu Wanyoike grew up here.
So all these places that I've been living, back then, they were known to be not great places to live. Crime rate was really high. And the people I grew around with, they were the people that usually here they are called the thugs and the gangsters and so forth.
Wanyoike wanted to fit in and was introduced to a group of young men who wanted him to join their criminal activities. He was the youngest.
Reached a place whereby I started carrying guns for them. So I carried them guns when they were going to maybe robbery and stuff.
But not anymore. He says a sense of loss convinced him to leave his life of crime behind.
Those who were my friends back then, but all of them, most of them are dead, and others are in jail, and it was horrible. When I remember about those times, I feel it's really painful.
Wanyoike is now a professional fencer in the Kenya National Fencing Federation team and a coach. He competed at tournaments in Cairo last year and in Milan, Italy this July. He started his own fencing club, Savora Fencing, in 2021. Now he trains young people at risk like Jemima Waheto.
I like it because we use different things. Even if you ask some people what is fencing, they don't know. But now they are coming to know because we are starting to advertise it.
Another student, Victor Odhiambo, had his family baffled when he mentioned the sport.
My mother, she told me that, what's fencing first of all? So she don't know this sport because this sport is the new sport in this country.
Despite the constant challenges of lack of equipment, training space and sponsorship, Wanyoike hopes that the lessons will have an impact on the youth.
I wouldn't want them to be in the same life I was, because they're in the same neighborhood, and that's what I'm trying to change in their mind, that don't let the environment that you are define you. I wouldn't want to see them getting into crime.
Fencing helped Wanyoike cope mentally, physically and emotionally, and he hopes his students will feel the same way. Saida Swaleh, VOA News, Nairobi, Kenya.
All right, let's have a look at what stories we have from sports. Now, Kenya's women football team, Harambee Starlets, will take on Cameroon in the second leg match of the Women Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, which is set to be played today in Nairobi. Starlets, under the guidance of head coach Beldin Odemba, will seek to use home advantage after they lost 1-0 to Cameroon in Yaoundé last week. The winner of the two-leg tie will face the winner of another exciting showdown between Botswana and Gabon to book a ticket to the 2024 Women Africa Cup of Nations. Today's match will take place at Nyayo's National Stadium from 3 p.m. and entrance at the stadium is absolutely free of charge.
Mimi nimefurahia sana na naahidi wa Kenya tutawaangusha. Tutapambana na mnajua Starlet waga waangushi wa Kenya wote. So my fans tukikuja home wakuje kwa wingi sana wa support Starlet kama venye na support.
All right, all the best to the Kenya Starlets, and if you can be able to go there, of course, at Nyayo Stadium from 3 p.m., please do go there and support them. Hopefully they make it to the Africa Women Cup of Nations. Now, let's cross borders and go to Europe, where Newcastle United thrashed Sheffield United 8-0 at the Bramall Lane Stadium in the final match day 6 fixture of the English Premier League, while in the Spanish La Liga, Atletico Madrid stunned Real Madrid 3-1 in the Madrid derby played at the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium. And defending Italian Serie A champions Napoli were held to a barren draw by Bologna at the Renato Stadium as French Ligue 1 champions PSG thrashed Olympique Marseille 4-0 at the Parc de France Stadium. Those are some very strange words coming from Europe. The Parc de what stadium that is, and Bologna and Olympique Marseille, or is it Marseille? I'm used to Nyayo Stadium, Thika Stadium, Kasarani, normal everyday words. But let's go to Wales, who thrashed Australia 40-6 in match day 4 in the Rugby World Cup Group C action at the Olympic Stadium in Lyon, France. Gareth Anscobe scored 23 points for Wales as Gareth Davis and Nick Tompkins added 17 more points on the score line to earn the victory. In Group B action, Scotland got their first win in the World Cup after demolishing Tonga 45-17 at the Stade de Nice. Van der Marwe, Blair Kinghorn and Darcy Graham also scored for Scotland in the first half. Okay, that's what we have for you here this morning on KUTV News Updates from KUTV Rise Today. We're very grateful to all the reporters who did prepare those pieces of stories for us. Please continue to follow the rest of the broadcasting. 6:30 p.m. you get Mizizi ya Habari, and then 9 p.m. that's where you get prime time news. Right about now, going to a short break. Then I'm coming back with a conversation on youth inclusivity. How do we spark a youth revolution? Cheryl Christine is a writer with Siasa Place, who we did have a conversation with last week on Tuesday with a different gentleman. And this morning, Christine is going to let us know what exactly has led to the voter apathy amongst the youth that we've witnessed in the recent election. As a first-time voter in 2022 general elections herself, she does have a new and fresh perspective on how exactly youth can come together, spark a revolution, and bring the change that we need within our democracy, and therefore bolster our economy. And what is more important than the youth participating in matters of democracy to boost the economy? That's what Biashara Tuesday celebrates, and I hope that you do it with me when I'm coming back from this break. Don't go too far.
My name is Jakub Petri. I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. And I'm the main coordinator of the CAFE project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Eva Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Kutoka kuwa jamii ya kuhamahama na sasa kujumuisha kilimo katika mitindo yao ya maisha. Kwenye toleo la kaunti ya Narok, hii ni Boresha Kilimo, kwani afya bora ni kilimo bora.
Kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha.
Focus on Health is a show that creates awareness on matters health and informs you on various diseases, their causes, treatment, prevention, coping, and support. So join me, Bari Michelle, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. only on KUTV. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at KUTV Focus on Health on Facebook and also on YouTube, and Health Focus on Instagram, because your health is your wealth. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
This year we have 3 theme areas: food security, nuclear energy, and then climate change.
And it unites those who believe in the harmony of human prosperity, vibrant ecosystems, pristine oceans, and stable climate.
Nuclear energy has the potential to address the pressing issue of energy poverty in Africa, where up to 600 million people have no access to reliable electricity.
Kaka mtazamaji, popote ulipo, unapokuwa ukitazama Safina Show
inang'oananga sasa hivi. Ungana nami Albanas Mwania, nahodha wa Safina Show, nikutoe ng'ambo ya pili hadi ufuoni. Safina Show, sauti ya matumaini.
Technology
science, innovation, ICT, and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Tech Innovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
Let's spark a youth revolution. That's what has been of my interest on one of the very many articles, just one of the very many articles that Cheryl Christine has been writing here for siasaplace.com. Type out siasaplace.com on your browsers and then, get to peruse. As I told you last week, there are a lot of conversations which are here by different writers on what we can do in terms of coming together to help our governance get better, help our economy get better, and also maybe as youth ourselves, how can we come together and conduct ourselves in a manner that will bring a revolution and change into the future. So let me allow her to introduce herself and then we get into the meat of this conversation here today. If you're on social media at KUTV Kenya, the hashtag to use there is hashtag Biashara. Tuesday, tag me as well at Richard_OKENYE. Welcome to the show, Cheryl.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Siasa Place, yourself, what do you do? I know you're a writer, also into public administration. Please let us know in a summary how we should get to understand you.
Yeah, as you said, my name is Cheryl. My name is Cheryl Christine, and I am a writer for Siasa Place and then the Right Africa program. I write mainly on governance and mental health and also inclusion and gender equality. So apart from that, I wear many hats. I'd say that I kind of wear a lot of hats. So I'm very passionate about mental health. I'm very passionate about inclusion. I'm very passionate about peace and security. And I'm also passionate about SDG 4, that is education. I'm also passionate, very, very passionate about social justices, and that is SDG 16. And above all, I'm also passionate about partnership, because we can't have a very elusive SDG, workable SDGs without partnering. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get into how all of this many hats that you wear affect or are relevant to the discussion of the day, which is sparking a youth revolution, right? And that's what we need. If I'm taking a look at statistics here, I see that the number of young registered voters declined by 5.27% as compared to 2017, when you look at 2022 elections and 2017. Even at the very end of the ballot, which was on voting day, we saw that out of the 22 million registered voters, only around 14 million were able to go and cast their vote. A majority of those who stayed away, as you've seen there, the statistics are the youth. Let's start with that. This having been your first time participating in a general election, did you expect this kind of voter apathy, and how was the process like for you?
I remember when I was going to vote, and I remember queuing it was queuing according to alphabets. So I remember queuing, and when I was going to vote, actually, the ladies, they were like telling me, oh, this is nice. They were like applauding. And then I asked them, why are you guys applauding? They were like telling me, you're the first young person you've seen today. Like, then I looked back and I saw the people back. They were just old people, like adults, very old adults. And I realized that there's so much that's going on. There's so much that has to be written, there's so much that has to be said. So when I kind of communicated with some of my friends and asked them why they didn't vote for the election, for the last election, they were like telling me they have seen their parents suffer, they have seen their parents vote year in and year out, and there's never been change. All we get to see is like high taxations, all we get to see is corrupt leaders year in and year out. So voting for them isn't something that they're not directly related to the voting. There's no correlation between them and the leaders they're voting for.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, I'd say that the youth of today and the youth of a few years ago are not the same. The youth of today can see problems in a different perspective than the youth of a long time ago. Yeah. And the youth of today are able to look at their problem and realize that we need to disseminate this problem in this way. So most of them feel like there's no correlation between me and the leader I'm choosing for. So even if I vote for them, I'll still struggle for my meals, I'll still struggle for my school fees, I'll still struggle for everything.
There's an infamous slogan that you've quoted here, which is kazi kwa vijana, pesa kwa wazee. Given that kind of situation, and now that you already did your first vote, I'm guessing because you're very passionate with democracy and governance, you're still going to be there in the next general elections to vote in 2027.
Time will tell, but I have to practice my democratic rights. But
Right.
time will tell.
Time will tell, right?
Yeah.
And now when we have this kind of situation where the youth don't see a correlation between them voting and things getting better because they keep voting, or they've seen since 1963, their parents, their grandparents keep voting and nothing changes, then would we say that there's a chance that things could change? Is there a way things could change through the vote?
Yeah, I think things could change. There's a chance things could change. Yeah, I've mingled, being in this field, being interested in governance, in politics, international law has opened me into so many conversations with different youth from different backgrounds and different perspectives. And when you get like to sit with these youths and ask them what they think about the state of the nation, they'll tell you this is how it is. And I realize that youth, we have so many agendas, but now the problem is we don't know how to implement them. We are not given the spaces, we're not given the resources. Because even if the resources are there, they're just for the few people who know people. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So we have a chance of creating a revolution, and one of the ways, my friends normally tell me that one of the ways is, from now, youth could at least create like a youth political party where they address their agendas, because everything that is happening right now from high taxation is affecting the youths directly. There's a new finance model on the school fees for the university students, and this did not require any public participation. Just there, one day you just wake up, taxes have been raised, no public participation. So it directly affects the youth, and one of the ways is maybe youth could create like something like a parliament, youth parliament, where they don't have to create it when the elections are approaching, but as early as now.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you speak of a youth revolution, and given that the youth are a majority or are the highest percentage of our demographic in the Republic at this time, someone else who's from, as we said, from yesteryears or from a generation earlier will say, a revolution is equated to guerrilla warfare, Mau, people going to the streets, maybe what we've seen recently in terms of protests organized by the opposition. What is a youth revolution? Is it something good that you should be excited about, and what encompasses a revolution?
Yeah, a youth revolution doesn't have to necessarily be like distractions of properties and economy and stuff. A youth revolution could be peaceful, like the ones you've seen in other countries like France and South Africa, where they got like even security from the government and stuff and the police. It doesn't have to be physical altercation. No one has to get hurt. But I think that when we want to create a youth revolution, first we have like to educate the masses that revolution we don't necessarily have to destroy things for agendas to be passed. We have to be peaceful so that we can be heard. Because if I am a youth and I'm one person, and another youth has another agenda which correlates with mine, then if we come together, then our voices could be heard when we are many. But when I'm one, it's very hard for my agendas to be heard.
Right.
Yeah.
You spoke of a youth political party, probably that is run or founded by the youth, run by the youth, and a majority of these seats and party tickets are given to people of a younger age as compared to what we're used in terms of the age of a majority of our politicians and leaders. But when you take a look at the very few young politicians who we have elected, even in the last general elections, the conduct of some of them is questionable. Some have very serious court cases. Some get into power and immediately become something completely different. And someone older taking a look at this is, these people are not ready for any position of leadership. Is it possible for us to also change that kind of perspective, that the youth also do have wisdom, and that these few, are they a representation of all the youth, or is there still hope in having a youth representation, a majority youth representation?
I think that before somebody vies for a political space, they should go through a thorough background check of what they've been doing and stuff. I mean, if you look at this, the people in government right now, most of them have very high-profile cases, and when they got into the government, they just got pushed under the mats, and the thing just disappeared like that at a lack of evidence and everything. So when people are vying for these political spaces, even the youth, especially the youth, so that we cannot get surprised later on and regret voting for them, they should go through a background check. But before that, we should have a judicial system that is very transparent and accountable. And very independent.
All right.
Because everything originates from there. If we don't have a very open and accountable judicial system, which is independent, then we'll definitely see these cases year in and year out, and we won't have anyone to blame but rather ourselves, because we do not champion for these places to be independent.
Right.
Yeah.
The Nairobi County government is also having a new finance bill of 2023 where they've invited for public participation, and it's something that you've mentioned there earlier, that it's important that public participation also is involved in the decision making of some of these policies which are formulated, like the new financing model, where we didn't see any students being invited over to give their remarks or to see which parts of this financing model are going to be a pain point for them, right? And with public participation, there's need for civic education. How do you envision civic education in a way that could lead this change towards a revolution by the youth?
Okay, so I remember there was last year we had a program on unity. It's with another organization called Atlas. So we were talking about how we can have an open democracy, an open governance. And one of the solutions that people gave out was having an early civic education. Because here in Kenya, normally we have the civic education when you're towards elections. That is a few weeks or a few months to election. But you don't get to be told the deeper details about civic education, about the roles of MCAs, the role of MCs, the roles of MPs, the roles of your Senate. So sometimes you get that a person is accusing the Senate of doing something which the Senate is not supposed to be doing. So civic education for me should be taught from a younger age, from tender age. It should be incorporated in the school syllabus, so that from a younger age you know that my MCA is responsible for this and this and this. My MP is responsible for this and this. So if I am to blame somebody, I should know who to blame. I should know which office to go to.
All right. And that'll be a journey towards a political process which also reinforces some of those democratic principles which are there in the Constitution. Civic education and public participation as well. How would you envision a youth parliament to be like?
Oh, how will I envision youth parliament to be like? Oh, that is a tricky one. Okay, but let me try. So how would I envision a youth parliament to be like? A youth parliament for me...
Is it separate from the main parliament, or is it like a small... we have the Senate, we have the lower house, which is the parliament. Do we have a smaller...
parliament,
or is it completely separate?
No, I don't think it should be separate, because at the end of the day, we still need intergenerational conversations and dialogues. We can't learn we can't just rely on our own understanding. You get what I'm trying to say?
Right.
So I don't think it should be separate from everything. But what I envision what I envision for youth parliament is I envision a parliament where the policies are coming from within us. Yeah, because since you're still youth, we can't afford we can't run our own programs because of the resources and stuff, and we can't normally get them from ourselves alone. We obviously need the oldies to come in. So I don't think it should be very separate, though when it comes to implementation and when it comes to policy making, I think it should be separate.
All right.
Yeah.
I have a trickier question. You say that one is tricky, but I have an even way trickier one. But this is as regards with peace, yeah? You are very keen with peace, mental health, and inclusion. I'm going to go through all of them because the majority of people who are affected by mental health issues are the youth, right? When it comes to peace, it is youth. When it comes to exclusion, and therefore we need
youth.
inclusion, it is youth, right? So let's begin with peace. Someone watching this show will say, if we are talking of a youth revolution that's peaceful, that has civic education, public participation, we're not even angry enough. Others think that peace only comes by the sword. By the sword, right? Kwa uti wa panga ama kitu kama hiyo in Swahili, right? So if we had protest a few weeks back, someone else will say, we need to be as aggressive as what we saw. We go to the ground, be very vigorous in how we pursue this, and ensure that we are touching the very key points of the economy where these leaders will get to listen to us, rather than going to boardrooms and proposing and forwarding our proposals and whatnot. How do you change someone's mentality from viewing it from that angle, and which is something I think also happened in the 1950s, where we were moving from guerrilla warfare with the Mau Maus to now having a discussion with the colonialists. Is it possible to have a turnaround of mind like that?
I don't know. I don't know if it's possible. Maybe in the near future, because I know Kenyans are very angry.
Because if tomorrow protests are called, you will see masses of people, right?
That's most definitely. But I'd say Kenyans are very angry with everything that is going on. If in any case you saw the number of people who turned out for the KDF recruitment, there was so many.
7,000 plus.
7,000 plus. And the positions are just 350. And each and every day you wake up, there'll always be taxation. New ones being imposed, or the old one being increased and stuff. And the economy is becoming too hard. Providing for ourselves is becoming too hard. Even basic education is becoming too expensive. So if there was to be a protest tomorrow or in the near future, then I don't think it will be very peaceful, because people are hungry at the government, because the government is not helping them despite promising to help. So I don't know if if we are to champion for a peaceful revolution, probably we should have encouraging and teaching and sensitizing people on the importance of peace, because the absence of peace in a protest is very dangerous for our economy, not just the economy, even for the welfare of everyone, because we have to be indoors almost all the time. You saw in the last protest, even kids got tear gassed, some got shot accidental. I don't even know if it was accidentally or it was intentional.
You can never tell.
Yeah, I can never tell. You can never tell. But we should start by sensitizing people on the importance of peace and importance of loving each other, irrespective of our political ideology or tribe, because most of these protests are normally seen as tribal wars. So we should start by realizing that we are both equal, we are both our brothers keepers, and we should love each other, because at the end of the day we'll still be neighbors, we're still Kenyans, and we should love each other.
Right, definitely. As a writer now, in the spirit of sensitization, what can we look forward to, or what is already out there in terms of your efforts in sensitizing and educating people in peace, mental health, and inclusion?
What should we expect?
What should we expect when people go to Siasa Place, to check out your articles, or what other efforts that you've been up to in terms of sensitizing people and letting people know more about the inclusion of youth?
What should people expect? Okay, so what should people expect?
In what you're writing here, because I'm currently looking at some of the pieces that you've written, like this one on youth revolution. So what more do you write about here for us to look forward to?
Oh, I wrote on so many topics, but I'm very vocal on governance. I love governance a lot, so I'm very vocal on governance. I dream governance. Even there's another one coming up on democracy. Yeah, so what should people expect? I'm also very vocal on mental health, but I don't write on it as much because I feel like it should be like practical, not theoretical, because it just help when it's a little bit theoretical. So so that's what people should expect, and people should also expect me coming up with new articles on youth. I'm very particular on the gender, and I'm very particular on my target areas, and my target group. So it should be, so they should expect articles on youth, women, and the state of the nation right now.
Right, definitely. And you can be checking it out, as I said there, it's siasaplace.com, and type out there Cheryl Christine. You get to read some of these interesting bits of articles that she's been able to pen down. Let's spark a youth revolution, which is the conversation we're having here. You've also pointed out on economic manifestos.
Yeah.
What makes an economic manifesto? What is an economic manifesto, and how is this also part of what we are going to expect in terms of youth revolution?
So in terms of youth revolution, right now, when I speak of economic manifestos, is that the youth of today are very empowered, and we shouldn't wait for the government to be creating for us these job opportunities, even though they have very good economic manifestos. But at the end of the day, they will not create them for us. Even if they create it for us, it will be for a very minor, it will be for a very small group of people. So for us to be empowered economically, we have to create our own spaces. We have to look for this money, even if it's writing proposals, even if it's crowdsourcing and stuff. We have to look for this money and try as much as possible to build ourselves economically and employ youths. I know it's very tough, but we have to try. We really have to try, because we cannot rely on the government. The government has already failed us as youths. Yeah.
That's a very sad statement there. I would like to give it its own moment for people to have it sink in. Or, of course, this morning here on Biashara Tuesday, we are discussing youth revolution. And Cheryl is helping us know what a peaceful revolution would look like, how we can come together as young people to be the change, and of course have economic manifestos that will impact our fellow youth, that will also be helpful in achieving some of those SDGs. You mentioned SDG number 4, which is education.
Yeah,
next month, or SDG 5? Okay.
16 and 16 and then 17.
All right. In October 5th, we are going to be celebrating the International Teachers' Day, which is also a conversation we're having here on the show. So I'm going to just change it a bit there, give you a chance. As a writer, as someone who's very articulate with matters of the youth, I'm sure there have been teachers before
so many
who led you to this path. Please do celebrate them, because most likely we want to be with you here on October 5th. But because you're having this discussion, have a chance and celebrate your teachers.
Okay, so let me start with a short snippet. So, so before I started writing, before I started writing openly to people so that people could read, writing was like my safe space. So most of the time I would write, but I will not give people my articles to read or my short stories to read, because they were my own safe space. You know how adolescent could be. Yeah, you just feel like no one understands you. So the only way I felt like I could communicate with myself was through writing the articles. So after I finished high school, I remember going for a certain event. That was like some years back. I went for a certain event, and then the lady who was sitting beside me told me like, oh, my organization will do writing and stuff. Yeah, and then I tell her, yeah, I do write, but my writing is for me. I don't give it to anyone. I don't share it. That is my safe space. So and then I remember her telling me, no, Cheryl, you don't have to do that. I mean, like, for you to completely heal from what you're going through, you have to give people what you write so that people can resonate with you, because there's so many people that are having issues the same as yours. So when I started giving them out, my first article was on 22 is not enough. I think that is the first one, and then this one is the second
22 is not enough.
Yeah, 22 is not enough. 22 women elected is not enough. So I remember giving it out, and the review I got was so immense. It was so overwhelming, and then I said, "Oh, this is nice." Then I started writing. I started dishing them out, but there was a little bit restraint. There were some I will dish out, and then there was some I will keep for myself, especially on the one on mental health, because there's so much intense for me. So when I started doing this, I felt like it was so good. So my friend started to give me like a coach. Gabriel Dinda is from Writers Guild to train me and coach me on how to write and stuff, to give me platforms, to give me workshops and stuff. So in short, I would really love to appreciate Nerima Wako, because she opened the way for me to be like write. She opened the way for me to love governance a lot, and she opened the way for me for so many workshops. And apart from her, I'd like to shout out to Sheila Magomere from Legal Sister. Yeah, my mentors are still my teachers, right?
Yes, definitely. You already also shouted out Gabriel and Linda. I happen to know of him. So yes, those are all teachers.
So like Sheila Magomere from Legal Sister, she has taught me a lot. She has been pushing me to do so much, which I felt like I couldn't do right now. I don't think if I had the courage like to sit here and just talk throughout. But I'm very appreciative of the people I have, and I'm very appreciative of my aunties. Yeah, they're all my teachers.
All right. Those are teachers of the world who've been able to guide you down this path. Just one last question, Cheryl, here before we wrap it up. It's what will I need to do today? Right? And this is something even I want to implement today on this very fateful Tuesday, 26th September of 2023. And the many youth who are watching this show, what can we do today to participate in this youth revolution, which is, I think, due, right? We've already noted that the government has failed us, I just want to say it so that it's, so I'm not mincing my words, and it continues to fail us. So what can we do today? Each one of us, we are a majority in this republic. We need to understand the power of our numbers. What can we do individually so that collectively this youth revolution begins?
There's this certain quote I normally like. It's the two main quotes I like. One is from Maya Angelou from the book I Know Why They Catch Birds Sing. So the quote says that if you want to be somebody and want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. And then the other quote is from a Bible, verse 8 is from Timothy. It says, "Do not let anyone look down on you and your youth." I think it's even there on that article when you start.
It's actually among the first ones.
I really love it because my mentor Nerima is normally telling me that. So she's normally saying that do not let anyone look down on you because of your youth, but rather set an example for the believers in love, purity, and in action. So the population of the youth is very high, not just in Kenya, but in Africa, in the global south as well. So if we had to create a youth revolution, then we should become like a joint endeavor and then say that there's problem here, there's problem in the sector, in the health sector, there's problem in the education sector. Let's come together, join hands, and say we need to create change. We need to be the voices of Africa. We need to be the voices of Kenya, and then disseminate change, be the change makers, because change does not come anywhere. It comes from us. It comes from us saying that, from identifying that, yes, there is a problem here, and there's a problem here. So we need to come together and create change, because I believe that we are very smart as youths, but there's a little bit restraint because of fear and resources and everything. But we are very smart. We have the policies. We have the brains to change this nation. We have the brains to change Kenya. We have the brains to change Africa as large.
All right. Thank you very much, Cheryl. Cheryl Christine is a writer with the siasaplace.com. You can check out her articles on democracy, peace, mental health, and inclusion as well. That's the conversation we've been having here on the show. And last week we did have also one other writer from siasaplace.com. They're continuing the conversation here on how we can spark a youth revolution. Let us know how you're doing it yourself on an individual level, at the community, on a national level as well, if you have that kind of privilege to impact change on a mass of people. And then we'll be back for a conversation on World Teachers Day. She just celebrated some of the teachers in her life who led her down this path of writing and also taking a look at issues of peace and mental health. We're coming back to celebrate some more and then discuss exactly what we can be prepared for. The theme for that World International Teachers Day is going to be on how we can reverse teacher shortage. So a conversation on how to reverse teacher shortage and also to ensure we're delivering quality education according to SDG number 4. Biashara Tuesday takes a break. Don't go too far.
I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland, and I'm the main coordinator of the CAFE project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Ewa Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Focus on Health is a show that creates awareness on matters health and informs you on various diseases, their causes, treatment, prevention, coping, and support. So join me, Boari Michelle, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. only on KUTV. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at KUTV Focus on Health on Facebook and also on YouTube, and Health Focus on Instagram, because your health is your wealth. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Nambi, I'm just saying, if you're having some doubts because the wedding is getting closer, that's okay. But you have to believe someone when they show you who they really are. Do you understand me? Be strong. Everything will be okay.
Here is to the happy couple. May the bride price make the bondage of marriage worth it. A toast to your first wife, young man, and I'm sure she won't be the last.
The Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The Bible says, when he spoke, then he spoke a parable to them, that men always ought to pray and not lose heart.
Christ says, I stand in the door and I knock. Whoever hears my voice and opens, I will dwell with him.
Like the moon, I will fade. But like the star, I will rise again. And though I fall, be rest assured that I will rise again.
Go to the hospitals, tell them that God will heal them. Go to the prisons, tell them that they'll be free. Go to the crusades and tell people that Christ is coming, and sooner than the word itself, is the second advent is imminent.
Tuachane na break kwanza, tuende lunch. Chapo.
Rasha piga shada kuna giza. Siki nice tujinise weke story. Kata maji pia shada liko nasio nikosa msupo si stress. Kama rende kisha basi nipe. Najua ni
Mama, big up, Brother, ukiwa Adriva, big up, Sis, big up, Shows, Mamba, big up, Oya, wase wote, okay, my principal, big up.
This is
what are some of the ways through which you can develop these skills so that we are comfortably fitting into the job?
You have to put yourself in positions where you are uncomfortable in the sense that you are not clear about what to do.
Because I used to work a corporate job before. So when I left, I happened to visit someone's farm around this area.
So this project is called Security Breach Detector and Furnace Familiarize. It is meant to be used to detect, detonate explosive.
We'll tackle all the tough issues, discuss all the weird moments, and hopefully share a few laughs along the way.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Mtazamaji popote ulipo, unapokuwa ukitazama Safina Show
inang'oa nanga sasa hivi. Ungana nami Albanas Mwania, nahodha wa Safina Show, nikutoe ng'ambo ya pili hadi ufuoni. Safina Show, sauti ya matumaini.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Tech Innovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
Welcome back to Biashara Tuesday. This is the best morning breakfast show on your television sets. And if you're streaming from the diaspora, at KUTV Kenya on YouTube, KUTV Kenya Live. That's how you can follow this conversation through all the way to 10 in the morning. Also tag me on social handles at Richard_OKENYE or Okeze. If you can find that easily, I'll see your feedback on what you have to say of the discussions we're having here. The show is Biashara Tuesday. The hashtag to use is Biashara Tuesday. Give us a comment and let us know who else should be tuning in to the show. I have invited over 2 teachers, and they also have a name in common. It's Wafula. It's Paul Wafula and it's Emmanuel Wafula, and they're both teachers or teachers to be. They are leaders within Kenyatta University, and we're having a discussion on education. This coming month, October 5th, and every other October 5th is a day to celebrate teachers all across the world. More than 100 countries participate in this day of World International Teachers Day. The role of teachers, and this year, the theme is actually very specific and very important for us here. So let me get it real quick here and read it to you. It says, the teachers we need for the education we want, the global imperative to reverse the teacher shortage. Teacher shortage also affecting Kenya and many other countries across the world. How do we ensure that the few teachers we have, or how do we get more teachers for the education we want? The teachers we need for the education we want. Some of the teachers we need are here on set with me, so let me allow them to introduce themselves, and then we get right into the conversation. From the gentleman at my very far right, please introduce yourself, and then we can go all the way around and then get into this discussion.
Okay, my name is Peter Wafula of Great Focus from the Mighty School of Education and Lifelong Learning. I'm a third year taking German and History. Yes, I'm a teacher.
Peter Wafula. I said Paul Wafula earlier, but I think because Peter and Paul, disciples of Jesus, Jesus was a teacher, maybe. Let's get to Bwana Congressman here.
Okay, thank you. I'm Wafula Emmanuel, and the congressperson in the School of Education and Lifelong Learning, and the so-called two-term majority leader, Kenyatta University.
Majority leader. Are you going for another term?
No.
Oh, that's not allowed within the constitution. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show. Let's begin with leadership. A leader is a teacher, right? In your capacity as a congressman, and also maybe in your future capacity or in your current endeavors as a leader, let us know, how does it feel like being a teacher as a congressman?
In fact, I'm a proud teacher because through the modeling of teaching that has given me even the confidence to stand before people and even campaign. And it has helped me also to nurture my leadership skills. Yes.
It's a very all-round experience. You're also, a student at the School of Education. Please let us know what you're undertaking at the moment.
Okay, thank you. I'm in 4th year taking mathematics and physics as my subject combination. Yes.
All right. Back to Mr. Peter Wafula there. Are you, as a leader or as a future leader, do you feel like a teacher, and in what aspects? Are you educating people on leadership, or how do you feel as a leader, and in what capacity is that?
Yes, as a leader, I feel nice to serve people because if you are a leader, you're supposed to help people, show direction, and make your people to be satisfied. That's what leaders are called for. And as a teacher, I am a proud teacher because teaching has taught me a lot, because you can direct people, and like in teaching people, it's just interesting. You get to interact with more people. Yes.
Right. They say that teaching is a calling. Is that true? And when did you hear your calling individually? Is it something that siku moja umekaa hivi nyumbani nasema lazima tufunze watu, lazima watu wasome, or how do you get the calling? Because there are very few professions which they say you can just get into it. Yeah. And I hear teaching is one of them. Did you get a calling, or
indeed,
how did that work for you?
Indeed, teaching is a calling. I remember when I was in primary, my parents used to ask me that I need to be a doctor. But within myself, I really wanted to teach. And every time they used to ask me, which course will you take? I want to be a teacher. So I think it's a calling. It came a long time ago, and I've been teaching even in the Sunday school when at home, teaching students on matters to do with mental health and wellness, teaching even in primary, that after finishing for class 8, I went back and taught. From 4, I went back and taught, and have been in the teaching field for a longest period of time, and it's very interesting.
Right, this is something that has been in you since back then. You've mentioned they're going back to your primary school, and I think then I could call myself a teacher because after class 8 or after Form 4, I also did go back to my primary school too. It was a very enjoyable process for me, and I'll be giving a shout out while I celebrate some of those teachers who've led me down this journey. Peter, is it a calling for you as well? Ulisikia lini? Ilikuwa tarumbeta usiku ukasikia lazima ukue mwalimu?
For me, at first, I didn't want to be a teacher. But in the process, in my family, most of the people, like my father, my mother, all of them are teachers.
Okay.
So after KCSE, I observed myself and my grade was not sufficient. So after soul searching myself, I decided that teaching will be my home, and as per now, I just love teaching, and I will continue being a good teacher.
Right. What I'm getting from you is even people who are not really prepared to be teachers, once they get into the process, they will love it.
Yes, they will love it because teaching is interesting. You just feel well when you just walk around and people are calling you mwalimu.
Mwalimu.
Yes.
Mwalimu, wakili na daktari, wao wanataka tu waitwe hivyo, right? Even your spouse is like, wacha ni consult mwalimu. Wacha niongea na mwalimu kidogo. Let me ask mwalimu. There's this aspect I saw when growing up. All teachers used to have a pen by the pocket here, and I'm seeing that you do have that. What is that? Is that a signature statement? Ama kuna unaweza kuwa una mark vitu randomly?
Yes.
What kind of style? Naona hata Emmanuel pia yeye alikuwa amesahau yake kidogo. What is this? What is the pen usually about?
I think the pen is just implies that you are ready for the task of teaching. You know, when you are a teacher, you can teach anywhere and everywhere. So having a pen shows how ready you are in this field of teaching.
Right, because it involves a lot of writing as well, right?
Yes.
And then let me get from you, maybe Peter, as we come back. We are going to celebrate the World International Day for Teachers, right? In October 5th, that is next month. Which teachers should we celebrate? There are a lot of teachers within our society, and why should we celebrate teachers?
Yes, teachers, we should all celebrate all teachers because every teacher has impacted on our life either positively or negatively, but most of them, teachers have impacted on our life positively most of the time, because in each and everything, teachers have made us and guided us in every aspect of life, so that you cannot mess around and you are always on the right place. So I think we should celebrate all teachers. Yes.
All right. Emmanuel, there are Sunday school teachers. Kuna asiyefunzwa na mama alifunzwa na ulimwengu. You know, there are teachers everywhere. What kind of teachers? Are we celebrating teachers who are at an institution, or what range of teachers should we celebrate on this day?
I think a teacher is an educator.
Okay.
And you can be an educator anywhere and also everywhere. But in this occasion, we are celebrating teachers. Those people have impacted you positively, instilled some knowledge and sense for your growth as a person since childhood too. It may be a pastor, it may be anybody who has touched you positively to grow to the level where you are. And that's where we are, and that's why we are celebrating them as teachers.
Right. Why should we celebrate teachers? As I asked Peter there, what is the importance of us setting aside a day in a year to note the presence of teachers within our society?
Yeah, it's important to recognize the fact that, or rather the impact that our teachers are laying in building the society. So we are celebrating teachers in the recognition that they have done a lot in building our society and in building our nation. So we need to celebrate them.
Right. Coming back to you, Peter, this year's theme, and I'm just going to read it real quick there for anyone who's at home to also follow through. It says, the teachers we need for the education we want. And then the second part is the global imperative to reversing the teacher shortage. Let me maybe ask you on that first part. The teachers we need for the education we want. What kind of teachers do we need? And what is this education that we want? From your own perspective, as the time that you've been a teacher, in what are the kinds of teachers that, even as Kenya is also currently reimagining its education system, what kind of teachers do you envision will be very important for us to drive this agenda of education, quality education?
Yes. First, I think a teacher is a very important person in our life. And so for us to grow like our students, we need to have supportive teachers and teachers who are concerned about the growth of their students and their subjects. So I think we need teachers who can make us realize our potential, and teachers who can be there for us and be guiding us in the right direction in every move we do. Those are the kind of teachers we need.
And the education we want, what kind of education? Is it different from what we're currently undergoing, or is there a kind of a new education that we really want?
Yes. Education, we need an education that is all round, where we are taught all things, even religion, ranging from religion and life in full. That's what we need.
Okay. Coming back to you, Emmanuel, there, still on this theme, the second part here is the global imperative to reversing the teacher shortage. We know, as we are aware of Kenya, in different professions, from doctors to police officers to teachers, we have a shortage in terms of the ratio between these professionals or these people and the population at large. How do we reverse a teacher shortage, even on a context of Kenya's level?
Thank you. In this year's theme, we are focusing more of how can we reverse this teacher shortage, and in our discussion, we really want to foster more on promotion of teachers, because we find that in the nation, many of the teachers are not promoted. So we are looking forward to see how teachers will be promoted into in this year's theme. And again, we are looking forward to how these students, or rather student-teacher trainee, how will they get quality education so that when they go outside there, they are well armed to teach in every field. And again, the teacher, the education we want under the same teacher shortage is that we need an education which is versatile, it's all round, that will equip this person. He may not necessarily go to teach in a school, but with the knowledge and the experience he has as a teacher, he can do a lot of things outside even the school. And that's what we need as we move forward. And now I think that's the way where the introduction of the CBC came in.
Right. Your comments on the CBC curriculum, given that the Presidential Task Force on Education, the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms, that's what it's called, has also tabled a few changes, which I think one of them we'll get to, which is the new grading system in KCSE. But on CBC, there's also a cry that there's a shortage of teachers who are equipped or who are well equipped to handle learners within these institutions. Is this a thing that needs to be done at the tertiary level, or how can we ensure that more of these teachers that we want for this new education now, CBC curriculum that we need, or the teachers that we need, how do we ensure they're well equipped for the curriculum?
I think it is well to know that the process went too fast.
Okay.
I think maybe it was Uhuru's tenure to have a legacy by coming up with the CBC, but again, now that it is here with us, we have experienced a lot of challenges as a university in terms of coming up with the model and even the grading system and many other fields, other units introduced and many other sites. So for this thing to work, I think we have to ensure that we start it from the tertiary level first, so that we train as many teachers as possible, so that when we deploy these teachers to the schools that now they have been built for the CBC, it will be very easy. But as we speak, you have less than 5 universities that are offering a CBC. Other universities are not yet, they have not yet incorporated the CBC model, which will be a very big task ahead, because we have now a CBC running in schools. It will be very challenging, because most of the teachers are not trained. And we have seen this whereby they're taking those primary teachers, they give them in services, and then they go back to teach. But again, I feel like that's not enough. Let these people come to university, be trained, get more knowledge, so that when they go back to teach the CBC students, it will be very easy and they will deliver more of the content.
Right. Peter, CBC curriculum, how do we ensure we are still on the theme, which is getting the teachers we need for the education we want? How do we equip our teachers within the Republic to also deliver a competency-based curriculum on the level that was envisioned?
Yes. First, I think our teachers should be trained about that CBC and be taught how it can be delivered, and they should be taken for training and be given the necessary support, because CBC requires a lot of materials, and that's how we can make CBC good for us.
All right. There's a new grading system, gentlemen, and that's going to affect KCSE at the beginning of this year in 2023. They scrapped the subjects. I don't know how many subjects you did yourself as compulsory back then. I think there were 7 or so, or 5, and then languages and mathematics. But now we only have 2. The Working Party for Education Reform has said that this only having 2 mandatory subjects, actually 1 if we were to factor in just mathematics and then any other language, and 5 other subjects which are the best performed by each student. We are seeing, or the task force says that, you know, this is going to enable more students to qualify, in that I pick my best subjects, so ni rahisi sana mimi kupata A, so many of us are able to enroll in tertiary education. Do some of these changes make sense? A change like that one, and will it enable us to educate more students as, you know, we get more teachers equipped to do that?
First, I will appreciate the effort of the government, especially with this new grading system for the Form 4's KCSE. It's important to note that given a chance, somebody can score well in areas of specialization. And now that they have reduced to have 2 compulsory subjects, that's mathematics and 1 of the languages, to be very easy, because when you check on the former system, whereby you were to have around 4 compulsory subjects, and then we had those that you choose 2 from the science, 2 from the arts or elective subject. It was very hard. But now if I want to do sciences, I can do the whole sciences, pass them well, and they are all recorded, which gives me a chance even to do a course that I really want to do in the campus. But you find that time, when you have chosen, you are taking all the science, you get A's in all the science, and then you have chosen the arts, maybe you score a C. But you find that they will scrap this A that you got in science and pick that C you got in art, so that they balance the equation. But with this new system, I think it is going to ensure that we have higher enrollment in the university.
Right. Has education gotten better if we, you know, back when you were, let's say, in primary school and now? We're talking about a new curriculum, a new grading system, and everything is changing. Peter, for you, looking back from, you know, when you were back joining this system of education in the Republic and now, have things gotten better, and how so? And if things haven't gotten better, how would you think, where do you think we should change?
Yes, I think things have gotten better, because at least now we are not theoretical so much. At least we are doing some practicals, and you can get more exposure. For example, when you are in the long holiday, we went for the teaching practicum. That's where you go first for just shadowing it, like you just go and observe how the teachers teach. Then for next time you'll be going for teaching practice, and that has impacted a lot to us. So I think there's a lot of change, and we should be positive about this new CBC because it will bring good to us.
Right. There's a new financing model, and because, you know, both of you are still within the university premises, this is affecting you and your comrades as well who are joining campus. We see that there was, you know, a decry by parents and students who are joining first year for the first time, that the new financing model is not favorable to some of them. Some were caught off guard. Where did we go wrong, Emmanuel? And how does this affect the delivery of tertiary education?
I think with the new funding model, we feel like it is not good and it is not bad. We can say that. But again, having it, it's very helpful, because one, at the end of it all, students will have a lot of loans to pay at the end. But before that, how will this have helped them or benefited them? If you find that the student is vulnerable, he will not pay anything in campus. So it will help this person to navigate through an academic without any challenge, despite he will pay later. But at this moment, he will have no challenge in terms of academic, which is important, and this person will learn and grow his career. And again, now the problem where it comes from is it came under many of our parents. We call them analog. Most of them, they don't have this information, and if they have it, they don't understand what is this new modeling, what is this finance model, what are they saying. They're just used to pay, here we pay 15,950 shillings per semester.
Per semester, right?
Per semester. But now they are getting big figures. They're wondering 208. How will I pay this? But again, it's not that they're going to pay that 200 and something thousands. It's because there is the knowledge, or rather the education to these parents is quite low. I think we need more educators, and we as teachers, we need to be educated more so that we can go be deployed in the villages, so that we can give this information to our parents, so they may not get tense. Some of them are surprised, and some of them even are dying of stress, and that's why you see we had a very small number of or a few number of students who reported back in campus, and like before then when we used to enroll over 7,000 students, this time I think we are less than 5,000. It's a challenge.
Right.
Yes.
So this kind of information needs to get out there. And what I'm learning is that we can all be educators, right? So that we teach teachers to go teach other people to also pass down the information down the block. Just to wrap it up, gentlemen, as we prepare for World Education Day, I'd love to know what activities each of you are looking forward to, how you plan to celebrate it, either on an individual level or as a school, or you as congressman. Maybe we could start there. What kind of activities we can look forward to in Kenyatta University and even world over on this October 5th?
Okay, so World Teachers Day is here with us. That's on 5th October. We are preparing this day because it's a day that is recognized in the world that this is the day for teachers. So this day as Kenyatta University, and it's important to know that Kenyatta University is the only university in Kenya that is celebrating this World Teachers Day, and that shows how positive we are in terms of education. That shows how we are ready to educate, or rather to provide quality education to our students. So it is going to be on 5th, and we have various activities that we have planned for that day. This is the 9th time that Kenyatta University is celebrating this day. One of the activities is we want to collaborate with the President's aim of planting trees. And this day we have set aside 3,000 trees that we are going to plant across the entire campus. The same this day we have activities that we will be rolling up in the online, that social media. We'll be posting ourselves as teachers. We'll be posting our positive comment to teachers across the nation and across even the world in all social media platforms, which will be very important for them to feel part and parcel of our growth as upcoming teachers. And again, on the same day, we have prepared a walk. We will have a band. We will have a group of dancers, the Rambolo dancers. We have already invited them, and many others. So, and also the primary kids. That's KU Academy, KU Primary, Kiwanja, and then we have a school that's also coming in. So we have a varied activities for this day. We'll have a walk across from Kahawa Sukari. We go to Confucius Institute, and we will walk across all the campus as we celebrate teachers, because we recognize the impact that teachers have done to our lives, and we also recognize that they will need a quality education, so that when we give quality education to these teachers, it will be very important for them to, when they go outside there, they deliver well enough, so that we have more teachers and more career persons in the future.
Right, that is very exciting to hear. Activities planned out within Kenyatta University, a walk, and many other exciting entertainment pieces that you'll be getting from Rambolo dancers and the likes. Back to you, Peter. How do you plan to celebrate it on a personal level? Are you taking part in these activities? Also, as a leader, maybe you've organized something small there to celebrate that day. Let us know.
Yes. During that day, I love that day because last year I was there, and it was very nice. We walked around. We had so many activities because we are celebrating our day, and this time I plan to celebrate with I'll visit some of my lecturers because they have been so supportive to me, my dreams. They have guided me, so I'll be going to see them, and I'll also plant a tree to remember that day and post myself on the status, and also continue with my leadership skills because I'm an upcoming delegate in the School of Education, so I'll continue selling myself out there.
Right. Wasipokupost unajipost tu ama namna gani? If they don't celebrate you, celebrate yourself. Unajiweka pale on World International Day. Since umesema you are going to be visiting some of your lecturers, I think at this point, let me hear, are there teachers that you like to give a shout out as early as now? Yes. Because maybe we will not get chance on October 5th to have you here and celebrate live on air, but this is your chance. Let us know maybe some few teachers who've guided you down this path. You can mention their names.
Yes. So the first teacher, like Dr. Isanda, I would like to appreciate Dr. Isanda so much. He has been guiding me, and he has also organized talks for us. Yes. Also Dr. Olivia, yes, from the Educational Foundation Department. He has been so helpful and supportive to me.
All right. Emmanuel, teachers you'd like to celebrate?
I don't want to be discriminative because I've gone through a pool of teachers who have mentored me since primary, high school, and even to campus. I still have teachers and some of the professors who have been holding my hand too tight for me to remain in this course of leadership and this course of academia. So I won't be discriminative, but allow me just to mention Professor Wanjau, who has been my mentor here, and she has really done a lot to my growth as a person.
Right. Gentlemen, to finish it off, I think I've been saying we wrap it up, but there's one question that I think I need to hear from you. Teachers are among the least paid professions in our society, and it's ironical given that they are the ones who have taught everyone else what they know. You know, given it's a politician, a presenter like myself, a doctor, everyone has gone through the hands of a teacher. And we are having this kind of disparity in terms of pay. You know, they are still the least paid. Even if we look at the early childhood development, where it's very critical, the initial stages of childhood, these teachers are not well paid. Is it possible that we get a point, where teachers are also well compensated? And, if this is a chance for us to ask the Ministry of Education to do some changes, this is it. But are there other changes that you feel that will be helpful towards fairly compensating teachers?
I think it is possible, and that's why this year we are aiming at how we can provide quality education, and then the second thing we are aiming at how these teachers can be promoted. It's one of the things that we are going to sell outside there during World Teachers Day. Let it go viral. Let it sink in the minds of our leaders that these teachers need to be promoted. And that's what we are advocating for. And it will be very important if we get at a point in time that these teachers will get recognized and rather be promoted in their field of teaching. It will be very important. But again, we are not sure because, the economy and, as they say, the economy and so forth. Yeah, we are not sure, but we will love that they get promoted. And that's what we are going to champion during this year's World Teachers Day.
All right. Peter, maybe some word on compensating teachers fairly, and a wrap-up word on people to celebrate teachers when this day comes next month.
Compensating teachers, I think the government should do something and add their salary. They can increase their salary and also promote them to the next levels, and just that, and give them moral support in everything they do. Teachers face a lot of challenges, so I think the government should just chip in and even provide funds, a lot of funds, so that the teachers can be looked after well.
Right. Any last word to people on how they could celebrate, just to encourage them to celebrate World Teachers Day next month? And would you say Kenyatta University has the best school of education in the Republic? If you can say that, without fear or favor whatsoever,
yes.
Please do it as a wrap-up for us.
Yes, I think Kenyatta University has the best teachers, and even through the process of, when we went for practicum, most of the times you found that teachers were referring to Kenyatta University because we were example to the rest. You find that we are organized, our work is just good, the teachers liked it. Yes. So Kenyatta University has the best teachers in the world.
All right, and you being one of them.
Me being one of them.
Thank you very much, Peter, for creating time. Emmanuel, maybe still on the same tone of hyping up the School of Education at Kenyatta University, would you say that the School of Education at Kenyatta University is the alliance of teachers?
Apart from challenges that have been involved by the introduction of CBC, I'm proud to say that Kenyatta University is the best university that is offering quality education to teachers and across the campus. So I believe we are the best teachers. In fact, when I went for my teaching practice, I was even taken to be the student leader for all other teachers on the practice. And that's how and I also got this information from many of ourselves. They were the one who are leading those teachers from Machakos, teachers from Maseno and other schools. That shows how Kenyatta University is being even respected outside there, and how the knowledge we get is very important in impacting students in the schools outside there. So KU is one of the best, and it is the best, and that's why we're also the only one celebrating World Teachers Day on 5th. None other university is going to celebrate that day apart from Kenyatta University.
Right.
That's how best we are.
That shows you something. If you want to enroll for a course in education, Kenyatta University is the place to be. You guys are leaders, and I can't avoid giving you a chance to say something to the comrades. You as a congressman, I'm sure there's a couple of your people who are watching, and they want to hear a word from you as a leader, apart from you being a teacher and our hopeful delegate for the School of Education as well. Just one sentence each, and then we can wrap up this conversation.
To my fellow educationists, comrades in the School of Education and Lifelong Learning, let us stick on the course. It is highest time. Let us stick on the course. I know the temperatures of the campaign is high, and let us stick on the course and choose leaders who are going to be available and are going to help us achieve a lot. We have challenges in the School of Education, but when we choose leaders who are there and who have a solution to these problems, it'll be very easy for us to move as a school. I'm looking forward for a greater School of Education, a School of Education which is built on foundation of best leaders who are the best in the entire university, just as I tried my best to be myself to be the best and given an award of the best Congressperson of the Year. I believe even going forward we are going to have such like leaders who are going to be the best. Let us have the best, and the best will help us have the best school in the Kenyatta University. Thank you.
All right, mapema ndio best na tumesikia hapo for the School of Education. Hopeful delegate, to wrap it up.
Yes, for me, I would like to encourage my fellow majestic comrades from the School of Education that they should choose leaders who will support them and leaders who will be there for them. I am one of them, and I believe that I shall serve comrades with all I have, because I've been a leader all through, and in all the places I've been a leader, all has been well. So I believe that I'm the best in the School of Education for the position of delegate, and I'll be there for comrades always.
Right. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for creating time for us here. And I was just taking a look at the statistics. Kenya's current recommended teacher-student ratio is 40 students per teacher, according to the so-called directory team from 2022's survey here. However, some parts of the country have a teacher-student ratio of as high as 70 students to one teacher. This is significantly higher than what UNESCO has recommended as a ratio. So it's one of the highest teacher-student ratios in the world, and we need to do better, even as we look forward to this day of celebrating teachers, which is focused on reversing the shortage of teachers within our learning institutions and also generally within society. Go out there and be an educator yourself and ensure that information is reaching to as many people as possible, and we'll celebrate you as a teacher. In the spirit of celebrating teachers, myself, I'll be giving a rundown of the teachers who have supported me throughout my whole life, but the first shout out goes to these two teachers, my mother and Ulimwengu. I got to be taught by both of those. I'll be back with other teachers after this short break. Jesse Kimotho, Chola and Abdi are tuning into the show. I'll be reading your feedback and much more of what we have prepared for you here on Biashara Tuesday. Keep it locked.
Nambi, I'm just saying, if you're having some doubts because the wedding is getting closer, that's okay. But you have to believe someone when they show you who they really are. Do you understand me? Be strong. Everything will be okay.
Here is to the happy couple. May the bride price make the bondage of marriage worth it. A toast to your first wife, young man, and I'm sure she won't be the last.
You know, reggae music wasn't the most popular music in my neighborhood growing up. And I discovered it on the radio, and from the first moment, just couldn't stop listening.
And many people express themselves through music.
Music is a freedom of expression.
We want the music to reach the people.
They see me smile, but they don't know what I feel inside. Traffic all I bring from the beginning. I gave you my heart, right from the start. Don't break it, sorry. I gave you my heart, right from the start. Don't break it. Wanna believe I'm an African.
So when you are sad and you listen to this song makes you happy, feel encouraged. The song gives you hope for a bright future.
Message the world.
All talent, there's always room for improvement.
To have faith.
We can be lazy and wait until it's over, or work hard and, try to be ready whenever there is something to do. We can just be on point.
So we need to join hands and realize that together we can achieve.
For John so loved this world now, he gave his only begotten Son. Whosoever will believe in him should not perish but live. God did not send his Son to come free, condemn this world, but through him this world might be saved. Oh my children, give me
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
People pass vuguvugu. People pass ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
We are all seeing the impacts of climate change. In Kenya, for example, the frequency of the floods is becoming more and worse. The amount of people and livestock we are losing.
The level we need to go is a level where the normal mwananchi and also the government stakeholders can uptake these solutions.
Those small acts multiplied by millions of us will help make a difference in the world at the end of the day.
It's just a slight behavior change that we need, and you'll find that it serves us a bit more than you put in. And that's the goal. We want to live a better world than we found. Because at the rate we are going, it's dire.
We will secure the planet for future generations.
Adventures across the African continent. See breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes, and out of this world technologies. Meet incredible scientists and learn fantastic facts. Explore, discover, be amazed. Be part of the next generation of African change makers. Be a part of Engine, Africa's
#1 science discovery program. Yay!
We're learning every day. And you need the way.
What are some of the ways through which you can develop these skills so that we are comfortably fitting into the job?
You have to put yourself in positions where you are uncomfortable in the sense that you are not clear about what to do.
Because I used to work a corporate job before. So when I left, I happened to visit someone's farm around this area.
So this project is called Security Breach Detector and Can Familiarize. It is meant to be used to detect, detonate explosives.
We'll tackle all the tough issues, discuss all the weird moments, and hopefully share a few laughs along the way.
To the Church O'Clockshire. I'm your host, Esther Becky.
And my name is DJ Terror.
We start you off with a word of prayer and get you started with a live transformational worship experience. And have our minds renewed by the word of God on the word segment.
And not forgetting new music za hii wiki, yani ndakuwa bado nawapatia pale wasanii wamekuwa kiwakali. So make sure manzo tune in because zitakuwa zina flow pia pale mixes kwa wingi, yani zitakuwa zina come through, and pia performance yani from our gospel artist hapa on Gospel Art
from 7 to
10 a.m. only on KUTV.
Okay, welcome back to Biashara Tuesday. We just had a conversation on education, and guess who else is educating us this morning? Which is the daily papers. If you get yourself one, 60 Kenyan shillings, Business Daily, The Standard, and the Daily Nation. Also an e-copy at only 20 Kenyan shillings. Read through, let us know what your reactions are to the headlines. But I am joined from the KUTV newsroom here by Joseph Kess. A man like Kess with double E, K-E-E-E-S. First time I said your name, I said Keys. But because you have the keys to these conversations, since you have been very in touch with what is happening in the world over through KUTV newsroom, and also as an anchor yourself, I think it's important that you hear what your POV is like for these stories. Kess, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself to the very low number of people who might not know you, since you're a very familiar face here on our station. Please do that, and then we go through these headlines and see what is affecting us this week.
All right, thank you, Richard. It is actually my second time here on Biashara Tuesday, and it is always a great pleasure being on Biashara Tuesday. And for anyone whom I'm interacting with for the very first time here, my name is Joseph Kess. I am just a journalist. Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't say just a journalist. You are the fourth arm of the government.
Yeah.
You're the fourth estate, yeah?
Yeah, I'm part of the fourth estate.
Yeah, in the media. Welcome, Joseph Kess. Let's get into this. First, I just want to see what you've been probably in the editorial desk once, twice, or, here and there. We'll have to know what your let me just read the headlines and then hear what your best headline is and why you think that will be the best headline this morning if you are the editor, right? Begin with the Daily Nation, and it's new KCSE grading boost for students. New KCSE grading boost for students. I'm going to read the headline and then say what image is the cover image of the day. So, new KCSE grading boost for students is the headline on the Daily Nation, and the cover image today is Raila Amolo Odinga. It's not related to that story, but Raila is also saying, "I'm going nowhere," says Raila. So the headline story is on the new grading system by the Education Ministry, and then right there, the cover image is Raila Odinga, who's saying, "I'm going nowhere." Kesi umeona hiyo?
Yeah, sure. I can see it here, the new KCSE grading boost for students.
Right.
And this follows, the yesterday's meeting by, the Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu and a few, stakeholders drawn from the education sector in the country, where they made some reforms. They came up with a new grading system, for KCSE, that is the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, that is starting with this year's KCSE, examinations.
Right, and right there down where we see the cover image is Raila Odinga. It's "I'm going nowhere." Raila is saying that when he decides to go to Bondo, he will not ask anyone's permission, and that's what they have highlighted there. Let's see the Standard, right, and see what you have to say here on the headline. Reading Uhuru's script. Reading Uhuru's script is the headline of the Standard, and it seems the man who's reading Uhuru's script is President William Ruto, who is pictured here during the flagging off of Community Health Promoters medical kit at Uhuru Park in Nairobi yesterday. And that's all. They do not have Raila Odinga. They do not have politics on the front of the Daily. They just have reading Uhuru's script. You saw this story as well?
Yeah, sure. Reading Uhuru's script is all about, people are saying, basically President William Ruto, it says a year after taking the reins of power, the Kenya Kwanza government is implementing projects it campaigned against, albeit with different names, including the BBA project that has been couched as bipartisan talks.
Right. So, yeah, I might have been wrong that there's a bit of politics because they are also highlighting the bipartisan talks, which are saying they are masquerading as BBI. I'd get to hear from you if you think so. But let's get on the last headline, which is the Business Daily. Employers' headache as pay deductions cross 2/3. Employers' headache as pay deductions are crossing 2/3. If you have the Business Daily with you, you'll see the Federation of Kenya Employers Executive Director, Jacqueline Mugo. She's the one pictured there at the front of the Daily, or at the front of the Business Daily today, which says employers' headache as pay deductions cross 2/3. Workers' take-home pay has shrunk from taxes and levies. Distressed employees are cutting on SACCOs and bank savings, as most salaried workers with pre-existing loan payment obligations have in recent months seen their take-away home decrease, and this is because of these levies, taxes, and some of those loans that they're dealing with. This headline, which is focusing on the state of the economy, what do you have to say of it? And then, now we get to know of these three headlines. What do you think hit the nail on the coffin right on?
About the employers' headache pay? Well, this comes at a time when the cost of living is very high. Taxes at the same time, the economy is not doing well. So it is a liability for, the Kenyan workers, and it cuts across, everybody as far as the employment sector, is concerned. Even the employers, are suffering,
Because they are also
it
even
affects everybody basically, because these are the people who pay the employees. Yeah, comes at a time when the high cost of living is there.
Right, and also there's also that kind of sharing when it comes to taxes, like the housing levy, where the employer has to contribute their part and the employee has to contribute their part. And we'll get into the details. Companies have decided to downsize, to employ hiring freeze, because now the more employees they have, the more money they have to part away with at the end of every month. Kes, which is your best headline?
I'm interested in the new KCSE grading boost at least.
The Daily Nation.
We take a break from politics. We've been doing this bipartisan. I don't know. differences between the opposition and government for long. Let us focus on education. It's very interesting, by the way, because I'm trying to remember, my own experience in high school, with KCSE. I had 5 compulsory subjects, I had mathematics, English, Swahili, chemistry, and biology. But now I say the beginning with the ZEA, we only have, 2 compulsory subjects, that is, mathematics and 1 language, either English, Kiswahili, or sign language, and then the rest, what or the high scores of a candidate, those are the subjects that count.
Pick the best scoring subjects for each student to grade it like that. Do you love this new system now? Do you think it's the best way for us to ensure that there's, as they say, the presidential party on education reforms is saying that this is going to be a good way to have better grades scored by the students and also have many of them joining tertiary colleges. Do you think this is the best way that we are going to encourage more of these learners to enroll in university?
Okay, the CS said, indeed that is the plan, more candidates, to join the tertiary level. But I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, okay, the increase in the number of students who will be enrolled or
qualify.
who will qualify for courses in the tertiary level. But then I'm looking at it and I'm wondering, okay, if how is the government prepared for this high number? Are there jobs for these candidates if we enroll more? I was actually looking at they broke down the numbers.
You see on page 7 of the Daily Nation, I believe. Yes.
So the numbers are likely to increase. The numbers of students will enroll for courses in the tertiary level compared to last year. But then where are the jobs for all these people? That is the main question here.
Right, here, according to a simulation by NEC based on the 2022 scores, as you said there, if the grading structure was used then, this one, there would have been 199,000 candidates scoring a mean grade of C+ and above, instead of 173,000 who attained the grade. So this will increase that enrollment. And of course, a very good question there, do we have enough support for this? Do we have enough financing for them? Because now we have a new financing model which has also locked out a majority of these candidates from 2022.
Yeah, and I'm also wondering at the same time, okay, instead of even looking at the performance, I mean increasing the number of students who will score, C+ and above, just by ensuring or rather just including the best well-performed subjects in KCSE, how about we lower the grade to maybe a assistant or a C-, for them to enroll for courses in the tertiary level.
Right. I have a very interesting scenario I want to present to you and also to our viewers, and I'm going to put a certain high school on the spot. I don't want to say its name, but it's one of the best performing high schools in the nation. And back then, when it was still 5 compulsory subjects, so I think you had to choose either 2 sciences, right? 2 sciences and maybe 1 humanity and 1 other subject. For this school, which I'm talking about, which is among the best performing schools in the nation, still with that system in place, you join the school in Form 1, you still have to do all the 3 sciences. So whether the country requires you to have only 2 of them as compulsory, the school makes it mandatory. Once you join the school in Form 1, you're aware that you will not be dropping any science subject. And this has helped it have sort of a parallel grading system or a parallel education system. So I envision a situation where even with the new grading system, where it's 1 compulsory subject and there is an option of this or all these other ones, this school still will maintain that its students have to pick 3 subjects as a mandatory to study, which is all the 3 sciences, and have their own parallel education system. You think the education ministry could be prepared for something like that, given I'm betting it's also a shocker to you that there's such a system.
First, let me say I know the school you're talking about.
Yes, the school we love the most.
Yeah, but in such scenarios we're likely to see changes. Schools will have to subscribe to the ministry's provisions. So we are likely to see this happen.
Right. And they're saying that the Presidential Working Party has blamed the previous grading system for breeding unhealthy competition. And this is because of those limited slots. There are very limited slots, and we have a lot of these young people who previously have been just competing. And, we gradually have been scrapping and changing this education system from back then when we used to rank students, announcing, who's number one in the Republic, who's number two in the Republic. And now we have a competency-based curriculum. We're just from having a discussion case on education because the World Teachers Day is coming up next month. Have we made strides? Do you feel like we've made strides? I know the next thing we're tackling here is health, which is there in the standard, but as we wrap up on education, have we made strides as a nation in terms of delivering quality education?
Well, I would say that we have tried to some extent. We have seen the introduction of the CBC, curriculum, but we've seen a lot of changes actually in the last government and also this one, the current government. We have seen, the introduction of we now have 3 national examinations. So I think this really is a good thing. Okay, those are the changes we've seen. Just apart from now, the introduction of this new grading system, which we are yet to see how it is going to operate. And I would say we have had a lot of controversies, especially because of the issues like the university funding model. So I would say I'm yet to see the advantages of all these reforms that are being made, but I see a lot of controversies.
Right, but with every progress, I think controversy is not something that we really can avoid, but it's good to note there's been progress here. I think personally I'm very satisfied with the change from a competition-based curriculum to now a competency-based curriculum. I was very intent in my primary school days to become the best in the Republic, rather than focusing on what kind of human being I'll become at the end of the education journey. And I think that kind of change will be very good. So read for yourself on page 7 of the Daily Nation how that new KCSE grading boost is going to look like in terms of the system that's going to be implemented this year. Only 2 the candidates from this year have been reduced their compulsory subjects to only 2, from 5 to 2. So mathematics and 1 any other. So kama Kiswahili hujui kusema sehemu za kipanzi ama sehemu za panzi or parts of a grasshopper, you can opt out from that and focus on sign language and any other subject that you're very well versed in, right?
Yeah, some people are actually saying that it will work, to the advantage of people from certain regions,
Which regions? In terms of languages?
I'm not going to mention. Yeah, in terms of languages.
Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe, look at your strength. And I think that's a good thing, Yeah. If you've been growing up playing around with objects and you think physics is your stronghold, no one should stop you from picking that as your best subject.
True.
Yeah, so that is what is happening in the Daily Nation. Let's move to the standard. From education, we go to health. And in reading Uhuru's script, we start with health, which is the Universal Health Coverage Plan, which has been launched or will be launched actually next month on Mashujaa Day celebrations. But President William Ruto, as of yesterday, already flagged off 103,000 medical kits, which will be used by this community health promoters. They're calling them CHPs, community health promoters. We'll be sort of going door to door to deliver healthcare right to your doorsteps. And I saw a very interesting comment, before I can hear what you have to say, of course. I saw a very interesting comment, and it was here on Twitter. I'm just going to fetch it real quick. It was about this CHPs. So what is going to happen is that the county governments and the national government is going to share the cost of having these community health promoters who will come door by door to ensure that our health needs are taken care of. And Abdi Ado on Twitter alisema, inside this kit, this is what you will find: paracetamol, and some more paracetamol. Do you have confidence, Case yourself, that this is going to promote universal health coverage?
Well, first, let me say the president really did a good thing, at least by introducing this, by launching this program. But it's a matter of wait and see. We introduce things and then, they become controversial later on. They create, debate later on in the country. So I would say that if the government really commits itself, with both the government in both levels, the national government and the county government really commit themselves to this program, it is going to work to the advantage of many Kenyans, especially those, in the interiors, the rural areas. So we are yet to see what advantage this, program is going to have. But it sounds well. It really sounds good. Yeah, bringing the healthcare services closer to the ordinary mwananchi.
Right. Reading Uhuru's script, following it up from that universal health coverage plan, they're also detailing here on the Standard, at the front page, debt management, in how Kenya Kwanza has been also be the one having a great appetite for debt. I remember in the campaign period, saying that Uhuru's government is borrowing too much money, and once we come into power, we will not borrow. And we have seen that with increase in taxes, hoping that this is what is going to reduce that appetite for borrowing. However, we're seeing more taxes and we're seeing more borrowing. Bipartisan talks, which are being labeled now here as just a makeover on the BBI. The government is using these talks as a launchpad for its own constitutional changes. If we speak about, that extension of the presidential term limits, the solidification of the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary and also the office of the opposition. These are all constitutional changes which are akin to what we saw in BBI. Watu wapatiwe viti here and there, and also new slots to be created. Huduma number, which was there in Uhuru's time, now being refashioned to Maisha number, which is supposed to be a game changer. We are told this is a game changer, just like Huduma number, and also these other offices. I am not surprised that this could actually be the same script, given who else could the deputy president of the previous government learn from other than the president who was in power then? Is he reading from Uhuru's script, in your opinion?
I would say yes, because we say, it's basically the changing of names of, for instance, I see here President William Ruto seems to have devised a way of adopting former President Uhuru Kenyatta's projects, that he criticized during campaigns. And like you said, the Building Bridges Initiative has reincarnated itself as the National Dialogue Committee, chaired by, Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah and, Kalonzo Musyoka, one of the Azimio la Umoja wa Kenya principles. Yeah, from Huduma number to Maisha number, like you said there. So, I think it is really just, what President Uhuru Kenyatta was advocating for, former President Uhuru Kenyatta was advocating for, reincarnating himself in this government, because we must also remember that President William Ruto was against the government during that time. This is because of politics.
Right.
We see him do most of the things that really are similar to what the former government was doing.
Even launching or continuing to launch some of the projects which were started back then, right?
Sure, yeah. And just, so it's just basically the change of names and, as the Standard, I've put it.
Yeah, which is a different, simply different castes, and we're just seeing a continuation of the same Jubilee government, what they had envisioned for it when it comes to health, education, and even these kind of talks with the opposition. When we are still on the bipartisan talks, there's a very contentious issue which has been going around. I didn't want to give it airtime. Honestly speaking, I am against sensational political reporting, and I feel like this could be a distraction. However, could also be a way to test the waters. But let me know, the extension of term limit from 5 to 7 years. What was your first reaction when you had this kind of proposal from the Senate Majority Leader?
I would say that first of all, this is just an individual matter, that the Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei came up with.
And his party has actually disowned, saying they've distanced themselves from this comment.
Yeah, sure. The party, through the Secretary General Cleophas Malala, have distanced themselves, and they have said that President William Ruto is keen on focusing on delivering his manifesto. So I would say that it's just a manner in which maybe a politician would like to, popularize himself or just to raise controversy. Kenyans believe at times, it is a way, the government uses to, just divert the attention. That is what some say. And also a way, of popularizing yourself, you create controversy, so it is just, I would say it is just an individual matter.
Should we ignore him or should we take into account what they're saying?
Okay, he actually said that, he introduced this, the change of the presidential term limit, the increase from 5 years to 7 years, because 5 years is not enough for a president to deliver on his manifesto. But I would say really, everybody is opposing it. I think at the moment is the only one, who is in support of this.
Right.
So we wait and see.
Wait and see if the bipartisan, the National Dialogue Committee will because he submitted it.
He made a proposal, so we wait and see, whether the National
I
Dialogue
wonder where bipartisan talks come in. If we were discussing the high cost of living, and he says that this will allow President William Ruto to have a longer stay, or have more time in delivering the promises to the people, which really is just a political statement and nothing to do with the high cost of living or the plight of Mwananchi. But I sense jitters. Could it be that maybe the allies of President William Ruto have a sense of feeling that maybe, the more Kenyans feel the pain and the pinch, he might not even last a 10-year term? Could it be something like that, or is that far-fetched?
Not really. Okay, Kenyans are used to saying, to mentioning such, or making such statements, that the president, is not going to last beyond 5 years or 10 years. But, the president and the kind of politician he is, you know how smart he is when it comes to politics. So, although at times we say that supremacy, makes nonsense. Okay, no, supremacy makes nonsense of. Okay, I forget the statement. But
yes, something to do with supremacy and nonsense.
Yeah, it is basically Kenyans who decide. When the people decide, that is it.
Right. Let's take a look at an image here on page 17 of the Daily Nation. As I read a comment, there was a comment here, a very interesting comment on that extension of presidential term limits. But let's see what Dula has on page 17 of the Daily Nation. Term limits there. Someone with a matchbox and matchsticks, which have already been, that is still Senator, right? That's a caricature of Senator Cherargei. If that's how it's said, Cherargei. Senator Cherargei, who is a Nandi senator and also majority leader over in Senate, and anawasha moto ya kuongeza term limits, right? How do you interpret this case? What do you see, even on the base level?
Well, I just say that, he has failed in this attempt.
Oh, yeah, the matches are not lighting.
Right. He has attempted, but, has failed terribly.
And I'm assuming this man here with black shoes, a towering presence, is President William Ruto?
True.
Definitely there. So that's page 17 of the Daily Nation. I was reading a comment from Mwere Said, who is saying here on Twitter, Kenyan leaders think of extending term limits to stay in power rather than delivering better services to the people who elected them. So they are more focused on having a longer term once they get into any position rather than delivering the people. Here, Nia Ra is also saying they had no tangible plan except to overtax and rob us of the small, luxurious life that we enjoyed. Now they want to extend their term in power. Here, also Kaslob are saying he should not be scared. He should relax. So that is responding to that possibility of jitters, saying that President should relax and not be jittery about it. Any last word on those bipartisan talks? Do you expect any fruitful discussion towards the high cost of living? I think I asked this question last time as well, right?
Yeah, true. But I would say we wait for the 60-day period to to end. Then we say, first of all, are these our board says going to agree on on these matters of discussion. Is it going the handshake way?
The BBI way?
Yeah, then the BBI way. Yeah, we wait and see. You know,
60 days.
Yeah, 60-day period, and which started some time back actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Since the submission of memoranda, a lot of it from civil organization, the LSK, and also Interreligious Council. You can read on what they are proposing, including what should happen with the IEBC. Kes,
yes.
Take this paper. Let me excite you a bit with brain teasers here on Biashara Tuesday. It's time for us to take a digression and answer a few questions. General knowledge. Last time nilikubit, right?
No. Last time I defeated you terribly.
Terribly,
mercilessly. Mercilessly. I want it hands down.
It's our time. It's my turn to eat. Let's see what we have cooked for you here on Biashara Tuesday. If you're at home also, 5 seconds per question. Come on, guys. Question number 1, the last line in the second stanza of the national anthem. What is it?
In English or Swahili?
In English. Second stanza of the national anthem, last line. Oh man, I'm singing it and I'm not getting it. Second question, here you go. What does SEO stand for? All right. There we go. Question number 3. Which is the currency used in Japan? Hey, umeandika haraka bro. Hey, so question next. What is the world's most valuable brand? I've seen this question before here. All right. Question next is how many thousands make a billion? Come on, guys. Whatever. Question next, who is the CS for education in Kenya? All right. Next question here. What is the capital of Haiti? Come on. Niangalie gazeti hapa kidogo. CBD Haiti. Haiti CBD. What is the name of the Kenyan teacher that won the Global Teacher Prize in 2019? Oh, Shandika, bro. Come on. Did you cover this story or what? No, I mean Shandika. Si jina moja ni sawa. Mwalimu. All right, question number next. I think the last one. What is the name of the newly appointed Director of Public Prosecution? Oh man, I read this. Ndo liandika story jana. In which year did man land on the moon? Oh, and it's written in quotation marks, just to make sure all flat earthers are included. All right, that's the last question. Let's exchange papers and see. Tatuone bro, hapa leo nisipokutwanga. Tutajua. Let's question number 1, the last line in the second stanza of the national anthem. And it is said there, firm may we stand to defend. Firm may we stand to defend. Hey, Kesuko, on point. I love it. Question number 2, SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. So next question, what is the currency used in Japan? It is a Japanese yen. Next question there, what is the most valuable brand in the world? Apple. Oh man, I wrote Walmart. Why? Kes wrote money. So money is a valuable brand, man. I love that. How many thousands make a billion? Well, we're still at money. A million? A million thousands. A million thousands, right. Okay, next question. Who is the CS for education in Kenya? CS Ezekiel Machogu. I think that's real quick, that's his face there. What is the capital of Haiti? Haiti, Port-au-Prince. Port-au-Prince. Yeah. Next question. What is the name of the Kenyan teacher that won the Global Teacher Prize in 2019? Peter Tabichi, right? So he wrote Tabichi, I wrote Peter. I think that's nice. Next question. The name of the newly appointed Director of Public Prosecution, Benson Mulele. What is his third name? It has to do with Ingo something. I don't think Ingo Longo. No, that's not it. Anyway, last question. In which year did man land on the moon? Please help me, it's 1969. Yes. All right, let's mark it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Case you have 6. Case you have 6 here.
You also have 6.
I have 6. It's a draw. It's a draw on Biashara Tuesday. Thank you for playing this game with me, and I'm glad that you could create time with us. It is 9:57 in the morning, so time is not on our side. I will let you read the quote at the back of the Business Daily, and then we wrap it up.
Right. Just allow me to say this on a real quick.
Yes.
I defeated you last time. Today is a draw.
Yes. So next time I'll beat you.
Next time I beat you.
I'm catching up.
The alternate that way.
Yes.
I beat you, withdraw. I beat you, withdraw.
Oh man, so there's no chance for me.
So Steve Jobs says focus is about saying no. Steve Jobs is a businessman, an industrial designer, investor and media proprietor, and also a philanthropist.
Right.
So it says focus is about saying no. Say no, to the surrounding, just focus.
Right. Focus is the ability to say no. That's Steve Jobs, the man who started the most valuable brand in the world, which is Apple. He's the founder of Apple and former CEO. RIP to Steve Jobs there. Thank you for creating time for us here on Biashara Tuesday. I have been happy to have all the conversations since the beginning till now. Sometimes we run out of time, as we have now at the newspaper review section. But let me know what you had to say on the show on social media at KUTV Kenya, at Richard_OKENYE. Also follow Kes at Joseph Kes. That's why he gives you his updates from the KUTV newsroom. Until next week on Tuesday, please continue following the broadcast.